Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to the Game According to Me. This is my podcast where I talk about what's going on in sports. I did not do this podcast last week due to the fact there was some family issues going on, and I had to deal with my family issues, and it just, it just didn't feel right. I wanted to do this on Tuesdays, and so I wanted to keep it that way to make sure I have a schedule. It comes out, I record it, and then I post it out on Tuesdays. I didn't want to do it on a Wednesday or some other day, so I just decided just not to go ahead and just stop doing it anyway. But yeah, that's why there was no 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 podcast last week. Hopefully, no other issues are going to arise. They may. I don't know. I haven't looked. But at this point, I seem to be hoping to do my podcast each and every week for the rest of the football season up until the Super Bowl, just like we planned. Um, so yeah. So with that being said, we're gonna just go ahead and just jump right into it. As for those first time listeners, maybe listening to it, for so during the football season, I go over the um, the week in college football and the week in pro football. I recap the past and I look forward to the next week. So, and we always start with college football since college football comes before pro football. So yeah, we start with the college football game. Three of the college football season looked like this. We had Michigan beating Northern Illinois 63-10. Michigan State taking out Miami of Florida 38-17. Really, Miami, I don't know what's up with the University of Miami, Florida. The only thing they seem to have done correctly was save the cat. So I'm not sure. This is a team that 20 years ago was on top of the world. It came back, and they were the team that people were talking about was gonna go on runs and everything like that. They were the ones getting the like 5-star recruits and everything like that, and they haven't seemed to have been able to get back to that that level anymore. It almost seems like since they moved from the Big East to the ACC, that's when their decline started. So with a couple years here and there, but otherwise they haven't been the same. Um, Coastal Carolina beat Buffalo 28-25. Oklahoma sneaked out a win against Nebraska 23-16. Old Big 12, Big 8, and Big 12 rivals right there. Cincinnati came up. They beat Indiana, the first team on their list that they need to beat to show that they are contenders. They beat Indiana. They have Notre Dame coming up in a couple weeks. They beat Notre Dame, and I think they'll win out, and I think they can definitely make the national championship, especially after Ohio State lost a couple weeks ago to Oregon. Um, so Cincinnati beat Indiana 38-24. Texas A&M shut out New Mexico 34-0. Kansas State beat Nevada 38-17. Purdue lost to Notre Dame 27-13. Notre Dame, while 3-0, not a good-looking 3-0. They was number 9 at the beginning of the year. They have dropped to 12. So yeah, I do think Cincinnati is going to beat Notre Dame. I really do. I really think Cincinnati is going to beat Notre Dame. Because Notre Dame just hasn't, their offensive line is just very hurt, and they're just not playing, championship football. They should have smoked Toledo, and they didn't. They just barely won against Toledo. So it is, this year is just not going to be their year this year. Iowa beat Kent State 30-7. See, that's what you do when you are a top contending team and you play a team, like Kent State, you smoke them. Not Iowa State, but Iowa smoked Kent State 30-7. And probably the game of the week, beginning of the Alabama, they snuck by Florida 31-29. Florida gave them a run for the money. They just ran out of time, I think. And Alabama first time this year, Alabama looked kind of like, yeah, it was you saw some flaws from Alabama finally. Clemson beat Georgia Tech 14-8. Ohio State beat Tulsa 41-20, and Ohio State, they were having some problems with Tulsa in that game as well. It wasn't until like the final several minutes when they came out and they scored like 14 points in a row, even maybe like a defensive touchdown or something like that. Arkansas beat Georgia Southern 45-10. Georgia smoked South Carolina 40-13. Penn State beat Auburn 28-20. Good game. I know. Some people might think that was the game of the week. I don't know. I still think Alabama and Florida is probably the better game. But they came out and they won a close one. Auburn tried to stay in as long as they could, but Penn State won 28-20. They're gonna that's gonna be interesting to see what they keep doing. Oregon beat Stony Brook 48-7. I don't know if you guys have if I told you guys this, but I hate the fact when these teams like Oregon are taking on a team like Stony Brook. Last week it was Alabama taking on Mercer. I mean, it's just I really wish they would change this. North Carolina took out Virginia 59-39. Mississippi beat Tulane 61-21. BYU beat Arizona State 27-17. BYU still has a chance to make it into that college football playoff as well. They'll need some help. Iowa State, one of my picks, they lost to Iowa. They beat UNLV 48-3, and Fresno State beat UCLA 40-37, in kind of a very much incredible matchup of last week. As we look forward to this week, again, we've got some interesting games. Only interesting from the standpoint of could there be some upsets? UNLV, Fresno State, Villanova, and Penn State. Once again, and I know they're in the same state, but Villanova, at least in football, is not. It's not on the same level as Penn State. Georgia versus Vanderbilt. Iowa State and Baylor. That could be one of the upsets. UMass and Coastal Carolina. Yeah, Texas A&M and Arkansas. Arkansas beat Texas last week. Now, could they take out Texas A&M? No. Iowa, Colorado State. That should not happen. Clemson versus NC State. That could happen because Clemson is just not the same team as last year. They're just not. So can NC State put an upset? Rutgers and Michigan. Rutgers is very good. They're 3-0. They're very good. Can they? In Michigan, they took out Central. They took out Central. Who did they take out last week? Northern Illinois. Excuse me. Sorry about that. They took out Northern Illinois, but that doesn't mean that's Northern Illinois. This is Rutgers, and Rutgers is playing very well. Auburn get back on track against Georgia State. UCLA and Stanford. Pac-12 rivalry. That's to keep it together. Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Nebraska, and Michigan State. Nebraska is they're going through some hard times, but they're in every game. And Michigan State, can they keep looking forward and keeping their eyes on the prize? Florida and Tennessee, SEC rivalry. We know what that happens. North Carolina and Georgia Tech. Oklahoma, West Virginia, Alabama, Southern Miss. Once again, we have an Alabama taking on one of the Southern Miss teams. Akron against Ohio State. Once again for Ohio State as well. BYU and South Florida, and Arizona and Oregon. But the main event of this week is probably number 12 Notre Dame against number 18 Wisconsin, and it's going to be in Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois. Notre Dame Fighting Irish will be taking on the Wisconsin Badgers. Notre Dame, it's technically a home game for Wisconsin, but it's at a neutral site. Chicago is the largest alumni base for Notre Dame. So I probably think there's probably going to be more Notre Dame fans there than Wisconsin fans, I would think. Notre Dame played there about a decade ago against the University of Miami, Florida. So it's This is gonna be, this is gonna be their first test. Notre Dame. Wisconsin's a very good team. Um, good team. Jack Cohn facing his old team. And yes, because this is not going to be Toledo, where or Purdue, that teams that are gonna not can't that once you get up on them, they can't do something to come back. You know, this team can be able to come back if you get up on them, and if they get up on you, what are you gonna do about it? So, um, this is gonna be something. This is gonna be the first of many tests, I think, for Notre Dame. Next week is Cincinnati. So you can't be looking at Cincinnati and not go by Wisconsin. Normally Brian Kelly, who tied Newt Rockley for the most games won at Notre Dame, he doesn't usually do that for his teams as of late. He did that very early in his time in Notre Dame. I think when they would look ahead and then get smoked by like South Florida and teams like that. The Tulsa, I think one time they lost to Tulsa maybe. But yeah, so this is gonna be a fantastic game, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Um, we're gonna see just really how good Notre Dame is. And now to the NFL. Week 2 started last Thursday. The Washington football team against the New York Giants. Great game down to the wire. Daniel Jones looked very good. So did Taylor Heineke. Great game between these two, back and forth scoring. Came down to a field goal. The Washington kicker missed it immediately, but it was offsides. The Giants booted 5 yards. Kicked it again. He made it. Washington won 30-29. Very interesting how that went down last Thursday. Then to this Sunday, we had some games. The Raiders beat the Steelers 26-17. Derek Carr, he's just been hot this season, and it's incredible to see. Wonder if Derek Carr can stay hot. Wonder if John Green finally has his offense cooking, and if they can continue it, they're gonna be someone to beat, someone to reckon with in this AFC. Eagles lost to 49ers 17-11. Again, the 49ers just keep winning with Jimmy Garoppolo. They just keep winning. So there's nothing you can say about that. The Browns beat the Texans 31-21. Baker Mayfield was out for a little while. He did come back in this game. Tyrod Taylor got injured and he stayed out. His upcoming Thursday game, he is going to be out. They're going to go with Davis Mills III as the quarterback for Texas because Deshaun Watson's just not playing for whatever reason. So, the Broncos beat the Jaguars. Again, two straight losses for good old Trevor Lawrence. He's going to lose more games this year than he did in his probably his high school and college career combined. But I think in the long run he'll be good for it. Not sure if Urban Meyer's gonna be good for it in the long run. We'll have to wait and see. The Panthers shocked the Saints 26-7. James Winston went back to that old kind of James Winston through 2 bad interceptions. Was not good. Panthers do look good. Sam Darnold looks better in this offense than any time he did with the Jets. So, and Christian McCaffrey's back and running the ball and kicking the ball effectively. So, the Panthers, they're 2-0. The Rams beat the Colts 27-24. Carson Wentz, once again, he got injured, hurt his ankle. The Rams, they just slipped by the Colts. Tua Tagovailoa got injured in the game against the Bills. Hurt his rib, maybe some broken ribs. We'll see if he can continue on to play. The Buffalo shut them out, 35-0. Josh Allen, the defense is better. The offense is it's not as clicking as it was last year, but I still have faith. Zach Wilson of the Jets threw 4 interceptions. Patriots beat the Jets 25-6. in Chicago, and Dalton without with a knee injury. They were saying that there's some reports that it could be a bone bruise. We'll have to wait and see. Um, but a defensive touchdown and a couple other interceptions. The defense came back, stopped the Bengals, and they won 20-17. The Falcons got back into the game, but two pick sixes at the end caused the Buccaneers to win 48-25. Buccaneers on a crazy scheme. Tom Brady has 9 touchdowns. His first 2 games of the season, unreal. Speaking of unreal, 2 fantastic plays made by Kyler Murray in the game against the Vikings helped the Vikings help the Cardinals beat the Vikings. Also, I should also say the Vikings missed the last-second field goal. If you not have heard the audio from that, try to find it online somewhere. It is incredible. Paul Allen, who does the games with the Vikings, it's just it's incredible to listen to. 34-33, Cardinals beat the Vikings. Talking about a comeback that you've never seen before. Virtually just by running the football, the Tennessee Titans came back and upset the Seahawks in overtime, 33-30. Really good. Derrick Henry still running around the 2,000 yards. Don't look like he lost anything yet. And for a guy who seemingly runs so slow, he can. He's able to break away, and I just don't. I'm not sure how he does it. Cowboys beat the Chargers, 2017. There's some thoughts about some last second things that happened in the game, and from Mike McCarthy. Did he see the clock? Did he didn't? Why with 23 seconds left, did he let it run down to 4 seconds before they kicked the field goal? So there was some controversy in there. And in the first game of the season, they passed the ball a lot. This was more they're more balanced, and they focused more on the run game. So it's the Ravens shockingly upset the Chiefs 36-35. I really think this is a game of really 2 plays. I think this is the game in the third quarter. Patrick Mahomes was getting sacked, and he tried to throw it to Travis Kelce when he was being pulled down, and he got intercepted. When you run around and you do all of those things, and you do so much stuff, and you are doing what he does, making magic the way he does, throwing no look passes, and all these other things like this. Sometimes you can be overconfident in your things, and I think that's what happened. I think he was there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a play here when you really didn't need to. You just needed to take the sack and move on. And unfortunately, that did not happen for him. When he came, and then obviously when they drove back down the field, Clyde Edwards-Helaire had the ball punched out. Ravens got it, and then they got the first down, and the game was over. So, but still, and even though Lamar Jackson he's exciting to watch, and he is anything like that, I don't know. I think he's still, he's still doing way more running than he is passing. He's not beating you from the pocket. He's beating you with his legs. And at some point, that has to change. That has to. Because right now, he's 22, 23? He can still do that right now. But when he gets 30, he's not going to be able to do that anymore. He may not be able to do that soon, but do that before that. Because he may get injured. And then his speed is taken away. And then are you going to be able to beat teams from the pocket? I don't know if he can. I really don't. And then, of course, last night, Monday Night Football, the Packers got back on track. 4 touchdowns from Aaron Jones. Packers beat the Lions 35-17. As we look ahead to week 3, Thursday night, the Panthers and the Texans. We talked about this. Davis Mills III are going to be the quarterback for the Texans. Panthers come in 2-0. They should leave 3-0. Chargers and the Chiefs are going to be a good game. I think some people are expecting this to be a 2-0 teams. Both teams are now 1-1, and so this should be a great game in the early window. Cardinals and Jaguars. Again, I think this should be this probably going to be another loss. And more exciting plays from Kyler Murray and that offense probably. The Browns and the Bears are going to play. We'll see if Justin Fields gets his first start, or if Andy Dalton is just start the game. Um, Browns should win this, but you never know. You never know what could happen. The Bills and the football team are playing. Um, both great defenses. Offense is still struggling. We'll see what could happen with this. Colts and Titans. We'll see if the ankle injury hurts Carson Wentz enough to where he cannot play, or because he's actually dealing with sprains in both of his ankles, not just one of his ankles, in both of his ankles. So we'll see if he'll actually be able to play this week. And the Titans need to continue their streak and getting back on track with them. The Saints and the Patriots. That's going to be something to see. Can James Wilson, can he, rebound from his 2-interception game, and can Mac Jones continue his good play as well? Falcons and the Giants. They mentioned Daniel Jones played very well Thursday night, but didn't turn the ball over. I don't think he did. And he's continued to do that. Can the Falcons get on the board finally, and see what works for them? Bengals and Steelers. Both teams had, I think, had a crushing loss this past week. See which one can get back on track. And Joe Burrow bounced back from three interceptions on consecutive 3 consecutive passes against the Bears. And can the Steelers come back and play with the Bengals? Ravens and the Lions. Lions lost 2-0. Ravens back on track. It should be, the Lions are going to hang in tough. And again, I think this is a good game for Lamar Jackson to kind of prove that he doesn't need to use his legs. He can go ahead and he can help the Lions. He can beat the Lions with his arm. Jets and Broncos. We're talking about someone getting back on track. Zach Wilson's got to get back on track here. There's, talk about the 4 interceptions. Is getting back. Something like that. And then the Broncos continue their good play. They're 2-0, and they're surprising 2-0, just like the Raiders are 2-0. So, Teddy Bridgewater is playing well. Let's see if they can continue their momentum. Speaking of playing well, it's the Raiders. They're at home against the Dolphins. Last year, this game came down to the wire. Ryan Fitzpatrick, came in for Tua at the end, drove him down the field. They kicked the field goal and they won it. This year, can Tua play with that rib? We'll see. And can Derek Carr and his offense keep playing, keep humming like they have been? Very interesting to see. Here's going to be the game of the week, I think. The Buccaneers and the Rams, both 2-0. That Rams defense, can they stop Tom Brady? Can they stop that offense? And then the same thing happening. Can the Bucs defense stop that Rams offense as well? Can they force some bad plays from Matthew Stafford? That's gonna be a great one to watch. I can't wait. The Vikings and the Seahawks also in the late window. Vikings have to get on track here. They've lost 2 games with 2 field goals at the final buzzer. One to win it for Cincinnati in the first week. One to lose it by their own kicker in the second week. Their offense is playing kind of well. The defense is not. They're not doing their thing they need to do to help them win. And now they got to go up against the Seahawks offense that is also humming in the right direction as well. Sunday Night Football, the Packers and the Niners. Oh yeah, this should be good. What will happen with this? Can 49ers keep winning with Jimmy G, how would they use Trey Lance and the Packers? Now, getting on the board, getting the victory, playing very well. What would now happen as they go to San Francisco? And on Monday Night Football, we have the Eagles and the Cowboys. Cowboys are 1-1. The Eagles are 1-1. Can Jalen Hurts make some plays to help them beat the Eagles? Are the Cowboys just gonna? What are they gonna do? Are they gonna pass it a lot? Are they gonna run it a lot? And something like that. And what's gonna happen with that defense? The rookie Micah Parsons went from linebacker to defensive end, and had 7 pass rush wins. That was tied for second next to Chase Young. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what this game is, and the winner of this game will be probably it'll top the league for first place, as the football team actually has a bye. I don't see no. The football team playing Buffalo, and I said Buffalo to win. And then the Giants are facing the Falcons. Who knows with the Falcons? But the Giants are 0-2, so if they win, they would be 1-2. With this team both being 1-1, the winner of this team will most likely be in first place after the end of Week 3. No news from the world of the NBA or Major League Baseball. So, with that being said, I think this podcast comes to an end. Once again, thank you guys so much for being here and listening to this podcast. Again, nothing should be happening, so this podcast should be here next week, where we'll talk about what went down in Week 3 of the NFL and Week 4 of the college football season. And we may talk a little bit about wrestling, I think, but wait a minute. I think because this Sunday is Extreme Rules typically, so we may talk a little bit about that. Obviously, though, you can go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AJTRIP20, excuse me, to go there, and my rapid reaction to that will be after the pay-per-view on Sunday night. So we'll talk about it there. So if you want to, we'll go into more detail Sunday night. But we may talk about a little bit of next week as well. So yeah, that is it for this podcast. It's good to be back, and good to have football back. That's the more important thing. Football is back. Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Please, if you like this, if you like this podcast, and you want to help a brother out, there are many ways to do it. You can obviously share the podcast, to all your socials and things like that. You can rate it and give me higher rating things. That helps as well. You can also support you directly financially if you feel like. You don't have to, and I'm not asking for it, but just in case if you want to. Yeah, you can go, hey, I like this podcast, I like what he does. I'll help him out. You can go to anchor.fm/Andre Triplet Show, and it should take you right there to my page to where you can help me out with some funding financially. 3 tiers: 99 cents, $4.99, and $9.99. And then choose what you want. It's up to you. Again, you don't have to. I just accept the fact that you continue to listen to this, and that's what I really much enjoy. So thank you guys so much for listening. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.